Hello friends, nice to have you again. Today I'm here with a new topic, and it's also linked to having misunderstandings in marriage. And today's topic will focus on how to show love and affection in your marriage as the years go by. A lot of couples, after the first and second, third year of marriage, the love that they share begins to fade, and a lot of things begin to change. I've had a lot of couples coming into my inbox telling me of how their spouses suddenly changed after they got married and things begin to go south. And because of this, some people begin to consider separation or divorce, and they begin to feel that their spouses do not love them anymore. So I had to come up with this topic because this is something that is affecting so many marriages today. Their ability to keep showing love and affection in the marriage after they've already started living together as husband and wife. You know how it is in a relationship. The both of them are always showing love to each other, and the man chasing after the woman, telling her so many wonderful things, so many beautiful things. Those things are the same things that attracts the woman to the man and draws her to him, and she feels kind of hooked. And she decides to give the proposal a go-ahead, like a yes, I'll marry you. So, I don't think any reasonable woman would want to be with a man that doesn't love her at all, and someone who doesn't show her affection, doesn't care about her feelings. No, everybody wants to be happy. But then, after you have gotten married to your spouse, why do some people stop showing the same love and affection that they promised their fiancé or their fiancé during their relationship? Firstly, I'd like to talk about the same misunderstanding. Some people do not know how to communicate effectively. And, when you begin to live with someone every day and you see all their flaws, sometimes it becomes monotonous. It's just like, I see you every morning, I see you every evening, and before you know it, the attractiveness begins to fade. And then the both of them become too comfortable with each other that they forget to keep up with the same, strength and effort that they put in the relationship for them to be able to be together. So, I've made a few research, and I'd like to go straight and discuss with you how to show love and affection to your spouse as the year goes by. So, like I was saying earlier, some married couples show less attention and affection to each other as they live together. And if this is happening in your marriage, you must be very concerned. Because after either the man or the woman has promised you during the relationship, oh, I'll take good care of you, I'll be your king, I'll be your queen, I'll do this for you, I'll never stop loving you. You know those lines, right? And then things begin to change. You wouldn't feel good at all. And you'll be very concerned on how to make things right. So this is what you should know and what you should do. Affection is very essential in a marriage. For a marriage to be strong and built on a solid foundation, the man and the woman have to keep up with the same affection they show to each other during the relationship. It's just like a regular food supply is important to fuel your body, for your body to be healthy. That's how affection and attention is. It's just like food to your soul. So if the affection and the attention reduces And it's no longer coming like it used to be when you're in your relationship. You always want to be on phone with the person throughout the night. You even forget that you have to go to work in the morning. You don't mind to be on phone with this person. You don't mind to do this for this person. You don't mind to make that sacrifice, to go a long distance just to visit this person. So you know the effort you put to win the person over. Is it the same effort you are putting whilst you're married to each other? Because when the effort drops, the attention drops, the affection stops coming. Because you no longer you put in the same effort, the same strength in keeping the person. You feel like, oh, I've already married her. So, after all, now you can see the way the both of you lie down, snoring. You see your flaws and you're like, oh my God, is this not the same queen I was trying so hard to earn? So, constant supply of affection nourishes and strengthens a marriage. What did I say? Constant supply, not half and half. It should continue the same way it has always been right from the relationship. It takes effort. Because when you get married and now you've got that thing you wanted, that man you want to spend your life with, you are now living with him. That woman you want her to be the mother of your kids, you now have her with you. So, as humans, sometimes when we get what we want, we find it difficult to appreciate that thing that we've so much desired. And that is the problem with almost a lot of marriages today. When you've gotten your spouse, then you begin to appreciate them less. You begin to feel like, what's so special? There is so much at stake. Everything is special. But for you to keep up with that same attention and affection, you should keep seeing your spouse just the same way you are looking at them when you are trying to be in their homes or in their arms or to be in their lives. So, after decades of marriage, husbands and wives need regular reassurance from their mates that they are dearly loved and cared for. Some people these days no longer buy gifts for their mates. When was the last time you bought your wife a rose? When was the last time you bought her a bottle of perfume? Madam, when was the last time you bought your husband a little t-shirt? When was the last time you bought your husband a pen? When was the last time you sent him a beautiful text message? I doubt you haven't done that over the years. And if you do that right now, he's going to be like, who's this? Because things have changed. You have started doing the things you used to do when you were dating. But I urge you, it's not too late. You can start now. There is nothing that is impossible. And there is no problem that does not have a solution. Your marriage can still be fixed if the both of you are willing to work together. Now listen, it's not a one-person thing. If the wife is willing to make things work, the husband should also be willing to make things work. There is no pride in marriage. You have to drop your ego. There is nothing like if I start showing this person attention or affection, he or she's going to look down on me. Are you serious? We are talking about marriage here. This is somebody you're supposed to live together with for a long time. And you should do that happily, not crying in your bed, crying in your car, or somewhere else. So if you don't care about your pride, your ego, just throw it away. You can bring in your pride when you are out of the house. Bring your pride back in when you're dealing with other people. But when you're dealing with your spouse, the both of you have to be humble and loyal to each other in order for you to keep up with the affection and attention in the marriage. So true love is unselfish. It seeks the happiness of the other person. If you're loving someone, you don't have to always put yourself first. It's unselfish. You have to find out what your partner really wants. Look at their faces. Know when they are sad. Know when they are not happy. You can't look at your wife and you see her wearing a long face and you just like, she's always like that. You can't see your husband wearing a long face or being quiet, and you think, who knows, he's making that face because of me. Stop guessing. Walk up to your spouse and find out what the problem is. Sometimes your spouses can come back home with other problems from outside sources, maybe like the office. Or maybe a colleague of theirs insulted them or spoke to them in such a way that it spoils their day. And when they come home, you see them acting cold and you think it's because of you. Without even asking, without even trying to find out why your spouse is not feeling good, you just conclude that the face they are making is because of you. This person doesn't love me anymore. This person is trying to stir up contention. This person likes trouble. Like, seriously? Do you make out time to walk up to your spouse and find out how their day went? When you come back home and meet your spouse at home, do you find out how they've been? How you doing? How are the kids? Communicate with each other. Show mutual interest in each other so that the both of you will keep understanding that this thing is not just, you're not housemates. You're meant to be lovers. Lovers. Married couples are meant to be lovers, not living together as friends, just friends. Yes, you both should be friends, but then not living together as housemates. There should be some kind of affection and attention, something that will keep the both of you going over the years. Generally, wives need more expression of affection than their husbands do. A husband may love his wife very deeply, but if he expresses that love only when he wants something from his wife, that's when you begin to tell her, oh, I love you, or before sexual relations, his wife may begin to feel unsure about whether he really cares for her or not. So it is far better to show affection often throughout each day, so that your partner will feel reassured that you still feel the same way for them. So, sometimes because of you stay together and you see your partner changing their attitude, maybe sometimes you do something that your partner doesn't like and they don't know how to tell you, and you see the expression on their face, it's not looking bright. It's very necessary to walk up to them and find out why they're having such a long face. Don't ignore your spouse and act like, who knows? Look at that long face. It's going to take you nowhere. You have to be humble. I can't say this enough. You have to throw away your pride and acknowledge that it requires effort for you to keep up with that same attention for a very long period of time. So the more you acknowledge that the both of you are in this together, whenever one person is changing their attitude, quickly call their attention and let them know that you are beginning to change from this to this. I don't want things to change. This marriage should continue the way it is. I am willing to do my best to make it work. You also have to support me. We have to work hand in hand. It's not just one person doing the whole work. What you can do. Show affection with words. Simple expressions like I love you. You are so precious to me can make your mate feel cherished. These are the kind of words you used to tell your spouse when you were dating. So when was the last time you husband told your wife that you love her? You think she doesn't deserve it? She does. She has left her mother and father's house, moved into your home to be with you and to bear your name. So she deserves to hear that you still love her. It's a lot of work. She makes your meal, prepares your home, cleans the place. You think she's not doing enough? I mean, this is the same thing people pay maid servants to do. And she's doing it free of charge, living with you forever. She deserves to know that you still love her. She deserves to know that she's doing what she can. Appreciate her. Commend her. You Wives, when was the last time you told your husband, I still love you the same way I loved you when you were coming for me? Or maybe you don't feel the same way anymore. Or you're feeling too big to tell him. I don't want to tell him I love him. Maybe he's going to feel too much. Now, take that thing out of your mind. You see that attitude of saying, if I tell my spouse I love them, or if I tell my wife she's beautiful and she's going to feel big. Feel big how? So you want someone else outside to tell them the same thing you can't tell them inside? No. You should be able to express affection. Commend them. Tell them they look beautiful. They look handsome. They look great. Tell them I love you. I still do and I always do. Reassurance. Try that today and you're going to see there will be lots of changes coming your way from your spouse. Some people will say, oh, my husband is not ready to listen. He's not willing to make changes. You, madam, you can make changes. Your changes can affect his life. Some men feel that their wives are stubborn. They are not willing to listen. You can change your way in the way you communicate with her. It could be that you are being too harsh. It could be that you're always raising your voice and she's also trying not to be stepped on. So she's giving you equal reaction to your answer. So, you see, this thing called marriage, everyone has to drop their ego. Drop your shoulder. Bring it down. The both of you need to bring your shoulders down and acknowledge that we have to be happy. You can't be sad. You can't be married to someone that you loved so much before you got married and you're looking outside to see if there's someone else that can make you happy. Then you have failed as a married man or a married woman. Find joy in that person you loved so crazily. Find love in them. Find joy in that marriage and you'll be happy. Drop your silly egos. Drop your I'm a man attitude. And you woman, be humble. Yield sometimes. It can't always be your way. And it's not everything you have to argue about. Sometimes let it go. So, there's another thing that, really troubles some marriages. You are fond of blaming each other. Now, listen, when you are married, you become one. So the attitude of blaming one person when a mistake happens because you're trying to hang it on someone's shoulder, it's not nice. It doesn't show love. So when something happens in a marriage, or maybe your husband makes a big mistake and it leads to some kind of loss, or it leads to a kind of problem, although it has a solution, but there is no need for you to keep flogging it. If you hadn't gone there, if you had listened to me, it's not necessary. The mistake has already been made. Tell your spouse, don't worry. I know you made this mistake, but we can make it work. You made this mistake, but this is a solution. Let's see what we can do. It is we, not I. No matter the kind of mistake your spouse makes, don't turn your back on them and say, this is your cross, so carry it. It is we. So sometimes when you blame someone so much, oh, if you had locked the door, the armed robbers wouldn't have come in. They were in already. So why keep talking about it? Why not find a way to call the police? You see what I'm talking about? So when there's a problem and you really want to find a solution, don't flog the problem. Don't overemphasize about it. So that the other person doesn't start feeling like you are talking to them like a child. There are so many things that can bring blames in a marriage. Some little mistakes. It might not even be something big. Okay, what if by mistake your wife throws the pot of soup out? I know that's huge, right? By mistake, and maybe she's just trying to fling her hand to take something and she knocks off the pot of soup. What is going to happen? I know you won't feel good, right? But the pot of soup has already been knocked down. The person knows that she has done something great, something, oh my God, her heart must be feeling so heavy. there's no need to flog about it. No need to flog the issue. You are always like this. If you had looked better, why will you fling your hand that way? The pot of soup has been spilled. Why, talking about something that you can't undo? Is a spilled milk. You see what I'm talking about? So when you have problems in a marriage, something happens. Don't be in a hurry to pass blames. No. Don't be in a hurry. And if your spouse always blames you for something, teach them how to stop blaming. You can talk to them mildly about it. Honey, I don't always feel good when you blame me for something. When something happens and I know that I'm at fault, I'm an adult. It's not bad for you to talk about it, but with respect, with love. So that you don't have to say it in such a way that I'll be tempted to respond, in a way that's going to cause a very big misunderstanding. So as adults, the way you speak to someone is very important. It gives you an equal reaction. So if you want your spouse to talk to you in a better way, to respond to you in a more respectful manner, you also have to talk to them respectfully. This applies to both the man and the wife. Because she is your wife doesn't mean you have to talk down on her. And because he's your husband, you feel, I'm his wife, I'm the mother of his kids, so you can talk to him the way you want it. No, it's very wrong. Respect is very important. Remember what the Bible says, that a man should love his wife very deeply, and the wife also should show great, deep respect for her husband. So if you love your wife deeply, and you always reassure her of your love and attention, she's going to respect you without you asking for it. She will submit to you without you talking about it. She's going to do it naturally with all her heart. So, it works hand in hand. And you, husband, if you complain that your wife is not showing you enough love and attention, have you also worked on yourself? The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you love somebody, you don't just say, you should know I love you. No. You need to not limit your expressions of affection just to speech. You have to even go far as writing them. You can send your spouses a note, emails, text messages, greeting cards, affection with actions. A hug, a kiss, or simply holding hands can show that you really mean it when you say you love your spouse. When you tell someone you love them, but you don't even hold their hands, you don't find time to spend with them, you don't get close to them, you don't hug them, you don't hold them tight. Genuine care can also be conveyed with a soft touch, a loving glance, or an occasional gift. And what about doing helpful things for your wife? Perhaps carrying bags, opening a door, helping your wife to wash dishes, doing the laundry, or even supporting your wife in making a meal. There are too many things that you can do to show that you continue to love and appreciate your spouse. And these things are more than practical assistance. They are affection in action. So when you do little things for your wife, like assist with the kids, assist with the house chores, they are affection in action. So it's not just by saying it. You have to put it in action. So treat your mate as considerately as you did when you were dating. I always tell spouses this. So if you put in the same effort you put in getting your spouses when you were dating, if you put in the same effort in your marriage to keep them, you will have a beautiful home. You see the same effort you kept when you want to call them on phone, the same effort you keep when you want to call them on phone, the same effort you make when you want to visit them, even in the rain. Some people will come to visit you even in the rain. When they say they want to take you out, they don't care about the weather. When they have a date with you, they wouldn't want to call it off. You know, all those efforts you put in to show that you truly do love your spouse. If you continue in that same routine when you're married, your marriage will be beautiful. But when you relax and become comfortable, you don't buy them gifts. You don't tell your partner you love them. Because you have a misunderstanding, then you keep malice. You keep blaming on each other. You did this. The fault is from you. I mean, what do you expect? The marriage will begin to tear apart. And the love that you show to each other will begin to reduce. And before you know it, you start looking elsewhere. Thinking that I wish I had married someone else like this. Or this man would have loved me better than my husband did. You start comparing your spouses to someone else. I wish my wife is like Mr. A's wife. I wish my husband is like Mr. B's husband. I mean, it's not necessary. You already have this person in your life. You need to work hard. Now, if your marriage has started going down the drain, bring it back. Bring it back. Humbly accept that the both of you need to show affection. The both of you need to go back to when you were dating. Start up the engine and move the car. Now, make time for each other. Being alone together strengthens your marriage and assures your mate that you take pleasure in his or her company. Of course, time alone may be hard to arrange if you have children or if there is a lot of necessary business to discuss each day. Perhaps you can plan to do something as simple as taking regular walks, just the two of you. So I really understand that when you have children, it's difficult for you to have time alone. But you have to make out time alone. The both of you can work together to send the kids to bed early so that you can spend time to watch a movie together. You can spend time to just hold hands or just cuddle. You know, you have to spend time to be alone. You know, have a cup of tea together. You talk about the times when you were dating, the things you promised each other, and you ask yourself what you need to do to keep up with those same promises. You know, it's very important, very necessary. If you have someone that can take care of the kids whilst you and your husband spend time together, make arrangement for someone to come over and spend a few hours with the kids so you and your husband can take a walk together. Or you and your wife can go on a date, you know, because you need to have time alone without the distraction from the children once in a while. Maybe once in every week, you try to make out time to spend time alone. You know, that will bring the both of you closer over the years. I mean, it's a very long time. It's a very, very long time. So for you to keep up with the love, you need to work very hard. So know your mate. Each person is unique in his or her need for affection. Everybody's unique. So talk together about how each of you prefers to receive affection and whether more is needed. So if your spouse is not doing as much as you expect, make out time to talk about it and say, oh, honey, I wish that, you know, we do this more often. Maybe we go on dates or we make out time to do this. Or I like it when you do this to me. Or I wish I can do this for you. Talk about it. You have to spend time communicating with each other. Not on movies, watching movies alone, doing things separately, making friends, visiting people and stuff like that. The both of you need to work on how to make the marriage work, how to keep up with your affection and love. It is very, very necessary. So rather than demanding affection, some people complain, my wife has changed. My husband has changed. He doesn't treat me this way. My wife doesn't do this for me. What can you do to make your mate feel more affectionate towards you? Because sometimes you are complaining about your spouse and you don't know that you also need work. You're not perfect. Because most of the times our attitude can determine how our spouses treat us. If you're wonderful, your spouse will treat you as good. And if your spouse is also wonderful, you do the same for them too. You don't expect me to be good to you when you're bad to me. You don't expect me to love and respect you when you talk down on me and you beat me up. Like, seriously? I mean, even when back in the days when we were in school, we never liked a teacher that beats us and talks down on us. More or less a spouse that talks down on you and beats you. You would never love such person. So if you want your wife to love you, you have to show love and affection. You have to remove arrogance and pride. When you listen to your wife, don't be in a hurry to shut her up and ask her, what do you know? Listen to her. Take her opinions. Even if it's not something you wish to do, maybe something she said, you thank her. Oh, wow, that's thoughtful of you. I'll think about it. Don't just say, oh, I won't do that. That's a useless advice. I can't do that. I'm too good for that. No, you're believing the person. We all know differently. And sometimes our advice can go a long way to do something good in your life. So when your husband corrects you, don't be angry. Like, this man feels he's always correcting me. Listen, it takes humility to make your marriage work. We know it's hard to accept correction. It's hard. Sometimes you feel like this person thinks I'm not good enough, or you think I'm not always doing the right thing. When they tell you there's something you're not doing right, think about it. And sometimes it's hard to accept correction at that moment, but learn to accept. Don't be in a hurry to say, you always say that. You always tell me I'm not good in this. Be calm. Say, oh, I'm sorry I made this mistake. Okay, I'll see what I can do to make it better. I'll see what I can do. I'll work on that attitude. Humility has helped I and my husband over the years. And it has made our lives so beautiful, so peaceful. And we are happy that with the help of God, we are able to work together. So, sometimes I treat my husband as if he's one of my kids, my baby. I go to the store. When I'm buying snacks for my children, I buy for my husband too. I buy him popcorn. I buy him cupcakes. I treat him like my baby. And then he does the same for me too. And you see him, sometimes when he eats, he tells me, come and take this fish. I'm like, please eat your fish. I dish the food for you. He's like, take this fish and eat it. You're my baby. So you see, the way you work together, if I treat you this way, you have to treat me this way too. That will make me happy. So you don't expect me to be doing all the work and you're not doing anything to make me happy. So you have to work hand in hand. Lastly, before I conclude, I'd like to read what someone said. Flavor with her husband. She said, we try to keep in mind what the other person desires. For example, my husband loves it when I express appreciation for the practical things he does for me. That's what tells him that I care. And I love it when he asks me how I'm feeling. That's what tells me that he cares. Some couples don't ask each other how they are feeling. Do you sometimes ask your husband, how you doing? Do you have anything you'd like to share with me? Sometimes you look at your wife and just ask her, how you feeling? How you doing? Are you all right? Are you okay? What are you thinking about? Is there something you'd like to discuss with me? Just, if they say they are fine, but then they'll feel good. Someone actually cares about them. There's so much work you need to do. And another couple says, in time, I learned to stop focusing on my own needs and wants. Instead, I began to show more appreciation for what my husband was already doing for our family. And I found that the more affection I showed my husband, the more affectionate he became toward me. That's it. The more affection you show a person, the more affectionate the person becomes towards you. The more love you show someone, the more the person gets drawn to you. So right from when you get married and maybe the children begin to come, some distraction from in-laws and outside sources, the way you show love, the way you communicate with respect, the way you humbly accept your flaws. When your spouse tells you this is the mistake you made and this is something you do that I don't like, the way you accept it and say, oh, okay, I'll work on it. It shows a lot of maturity. It's not easy to do because people don't like when you correct them. People don't like when you tell them what to do. But it's good because everybody knows what makes them happy. So if your spouse thinks that you need to put in more work, please do. Don't feel too big to make your partner happy. Don't feel too big to bring joy into your home because it's a very long time. As the year goes by, as the children come, so many things, including finances, can rob you of your joy and your marriage. Don't allow problems, finances, children, crying here and there and stuff like that to rob you of the affection and attention you have with your spouse. You should still be able to hug them when they return from work. Hug them before they leave for work. You see? Make sure that you try your best to prepare meals. Sometimes I make breakfast and lunch and I package everything in my husband like a lunch box and I give it to him to take to work. So every day he goes to work, he has lunch, he has breakfast, so he doesn't have to go outside to go looking for food. He has everything he needs in his lunch box. You see, so these are sacrifices that you can make for your marriage, and your partner will continue to appreciate you. They know when you're doing good. Sometimes they don't say it, but they actually do know when you're trying. So, but then always remember to compliment your spouse. When they are doing good, always remember to tell them their good points. If your partner helps you to do something, remember to say thank you. Don't be in a hurry to say, oh, he didn't even do it well. And she didn't even complete this thing. He didn't wash my shirt properly. Look at the neck. The collar is dirty. First of all, say thank you for what was already done for you. Appreciation is very important. As you do this, I pray that your marriage becomes more beautiful. As you listen, as you put in more practice, I want you all to be happy. If you have questions or concerns, don't forget to come into my inbox. I am willing to listen. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching. Bye.